Welcome to Humanity Unboxed with me, Michelle Cheen, and Michael McGroots. Today, Michael, it is the 1st of July. We are, well, on the, what is it, the Gregorian calendar. We're going into the second half of the year. Crazy stuff. And our theme in the Wisdom Seekers this month is mastery. So you and I are going to see what we come up with and where we go with this.
The non-masters look for mastery. That's good. That's a great thing. We actually have never thought about that. I don't consider myself a master, so,
No, but
I'm a
is it?
one-on-one. I'm a one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why our theme, or our title today is Perfectly Imperfect, Embracing Your Unique Path to Mastery. And I kind of want to throw it in from the beginning, mastery or perfection, all those things are man-made. We created this idea of being better than.
Exactly.
And it's quite a paradox, because in the essence of it all, if you, as a master, you still want to grow, so you're never really a master, because you are still growing and developing and changing through it all.
Yeah, and that's why we have that mentorship, because even masters, even the super masters, mentored the masters and mentoring everybody else. So that's a systemic construct that we made, and it's good. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to put it in the right context. We can only be what we really only can be is the master of ourselves, as the one-on-one that we are. So you can be the master of Michelle, I can be the master of Michael. If I'm not the master of Michael, then I'm trying to adapt my uniqueness, my one-on-oneness, to systems, to other people, my wife, my kids, my whatever, and that or to job, you adapt that to this, and then become and you really look for, you chase the appreciation, that the people call you master perfect, the validation, the outside validation.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this, actually. It's kind of building nicely on our theme last month, was value, adding value, what that means, and how we are valuable in nature already, without the validation, without the little tick or the gold star or the badge or the whatever it is that
degree,
degree, yeah,
the
the thing.
certificate, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're already valuable. We come in valuable. We come in as a part of nature, which didn't make mistakes, and therefore, it is as it should be. But now we as humans have come up with this perfection thing. Like, it has to be perfect, or it has to be better than. And for me, a part of this road to mastery, which is never reached, maybe, is
No, it's never reached.
no.
No, you have to prove to me that's reached ever. And
Yeah,
perfection. If anybody, it's perfect, said, prove to me perfection. What is
yeah.
perfection? What is if you make the perfect car and I make a better car tomorrow?
But perfect for me and perfect for you might be completely different things.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is how we shame collectively ourselves. This is how
yeah.
this is our process when we have become system relevant and forced into gender, race, whatever their niche, the system niche, that we say who's the best in the system niche, but it's really not. It's whatever whoever dances the best, whoever connects to the experience and is also fulfilled. Because if you're not fulfilled, I'm a master, I'm not fulfilled, and this, watchmakers or whatever, they're so anal that they're doing this stuff. I don't see the joy of that. There is probably watchmakers that have a real fulfillment, but where is the joy of being just focusing on? And then now it's funny. There's AI machines that do it better than you ever could do. They have such a, before You could file all the gears and everything perfectly. And now the machine just does it better than you ever could.
And that's a great point, because the machine does it perfectly, but I wouldn't say it does it better than, because for me, the handmade, the little imperfections, the things that make it show that someone put their heart into it is what makes it better if we want to compare things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why art is never perfect, because the beauty of art is that it's imperfect.
Exactly.
It's never the perfection that art makes it good, because it makes it cold. It takes the soul right out of it. If I do everything,
yeah. And that's why things like AI or machines or things will never, we're not looking for perfection, really, is actually what I'm hearing. Yeah. Because what I'm feeling is we're looking for nature. In nature, if something is out of line, the tree grows around it, or it adapts to its environment. It doesn't keep on doing the thing the same way as it was taught to be perfect, or to be in line with. And that's almost the difference between perfection and mastery. There is no perfection in mastery, maybe.
Yeah. Now, and because I saw your pictures of the trees and everything, you made beautiful pictures and stuff. And that is the aesthetics of that, interacting, the synergistically working with each other of nature is unbelievable gratifying. So when I looked at your picture with the tree and stuff, it was so gratifying. And I didn't want to see a perfect tree. You know what I mean? I think that was really, I like when people have big noses or whatever. And it said, why would you change your nose? They're a nose job because you are unique. That's you,
Yeah.
And so, but you said something about, so what comes in is the mastery is more human centric, meaning what you focus on, the task. Let's say you are a painter, right? And you paint and mix the colors and all this stuff. I think mastery means, Michaell can mix every color that she wants. If I said, Michaell, paint chartreuse green, but make it more in the yellow, because you have mastery and have used that medium so often that you can actually, you're using the tool. The tool doesn't use you. So if I think mastery is when you take a screwdriver, electric screwdriver, and you don't know how to pilot the hole or whatever, and you're not the master of the tool. And I think that's nothing to do with perfection. It's just the master of your tools that you have, of the canvas that you have, of your voice. It's like me doing almost 400 podcasts. It makes me understand the tool. I understand the tool of podcasting, and I don't want to make it perfect. And there's a lot of podcasters, they want to say, perfect podcast. You have to say this, you have to this, and then you have to do this, and then you have to this. And so to get attention, and then you make pauses, the whole thing, and the seriousness. And I just thought this seriousness is the biggest devaluation of our one-on-oneness. You want to be serious, that's devaluing humanity. It's literally getting everyone.
Okay, hang on. What do you mean with serious?
Meaning in the school, be quiet.
Okay.
Constantly. In the jury, in the law, you have to be very. It's never laugh. It's never laughing matter. Basically, it's total submittal to the system.
Yeah.
It's like humans don't count, even though it's in the thing of counting, but humans don't count, and that's like. It's not play. There is no mastery. Can never come from perfection. It has to come from serious. But master is when you strive for the perfection. That it's everything, which makes us non-human, because the AI is better than we. Or the machines are better than we. They can do more. A car can run faster than us. So that's basically the lead into this, by being very serious, very linear, very the same, regurgitating, oh, hey, that's a woman. She needs to be treated different than a man. And this needs to be treated. And a child is a stupid child, right? It needs to be just cut off and be dictated what to do, versus embracing a child. And I think we have talked about this, might not on the thing, embracing a child or an elderly person, even with dementia, and talk to them in horizontal ways and not serious, and always smiling and laughing, having fun, being human with somebody. And that's, I think that's a lot with the mastery imperfection, is you can really suck the life juice out of with perfection. And with mastery is still a dance. It's still because you actually can never be a master of a tool if you're just serious. You can't. It's
no, but naturally, sometimes seriousness comes, as from our nature, that kind of focus or reflection or whatever it is that inspires it, that there is some seriousness, or seems to be some seriousness. I'm trying to, in my head, find a definition for what seriousness is, kind of like a view for it.
When I threaten you, you're serious, right? I mean, if I threaten you, you're serious. That's natural seriousness. But because then the switch to the DNA to survive. So, but basically, it's really not a thing, because when you try to survive, your DNA takes over. Like we talk about the animal that pushed in a corner, the cutest animal is biting you, because, I think that's not really comprehension of seriousness, really, because it's just like you get it and you switch off, and that's interesting. That I think there's never a thing of seriousness. I think honestly, I haven't really thought about it, but the more I'm wrapping my thing, there's nothing that needs to be serious. I think systems have brought seriousness in, that all women are the same, all men are the same, what that to categorize. I think in this environment, like the legal environment, we have to be serious. We can never smile or laugh. We just have to be serious. When it comes to enum, so we have to punish. We have to, think that it's all systemic. So I think there's no. I mean, the question would be really for the legal system and all this various system relevant stuff, to see, could we do it in a different perspective, from a different perspective,
I am just thinking now where, when I try to understand something, so when I kind of pause and I try and understand what's going on, what you are saying, or what's happening, or what's the evidence before me, if we go into a law, or then I go into a seriousness automatically, because I kind of have to pause. So within that seriousness, I pause, if that makes sense, so that I can absorb, and therefore I'm not really experiencing.
I think the reason why you need to go and think, because to percolate all the stuff that you experienced yourself with the accusation, for example, in legal systems, right? What you experienced by yourself. So you're actually recalling your past, and then you think what the accusation is, and you try to make sense for you about this. I think that's totally normal. I do the same thing, probably, because you're
going, this is what I have in my arsenal of tools, and now I'm measuring this against it, and therefore I kind of have to step away. And I suppose that's often where the human centricity kind of is in balance with the system, because now I'm using the system that I've used before to measure how I see what's going on now, which is a bit faulty, obviously, because we can't always
just think in the now. It's never faulty. I'm sorry, it's never faulty, because you are 101, And that's, you only can experience what your one-on-one is. There is no I'm better and worse. Another person can be a master how he bends the law. That's why a good judge, how you, and the reason why we bend laws and why we pay judges a lot of things is because we are all one-on-one. But we pretend we are, there's a rule in there. No, there's only guidelines, and the right, juggles it rightly to get what you want, and the other turn the opposite, because it's win and lose in like all systems think it's win or lose. So the other one tries it the other way. But it's super interesting because I would think there might be the updating of systems that we always talk about. This could be also updated in a way to be just conscious of it, to be conscious. And and when you said no, it's not as no, it's you. There is no wrong. You can only look at the system in your context.
Yeah. And that brings us back to that perfectly imperfect. So society tells us what perfect is, or man-made, or whatever the structure around us has told us what is perfect. At one stage, blonde hair and big boobs and no bum, that was perfect. Now it's the other way around. It's
all about big bum. That's big bum is number one. Perfect is big bum, so get a big bum. So but this is always in systems, is the form is more important than the function. That's why we want to change our forms. That's why I say I need blonde hair, I need to be 6'8" tall, and I need to have that to be system relevant and to have the outside stuff. And
but that's never, even if you're striving, then we're going back to our first conversations where you're never enough. So even if you're striving for that societal perfection, that makes it even worse, because you'll never reach it, because it changes all the time. So it's never going to reach it. I mean, Pamela Anderson used to be the perfect whatever. Now it's this, I can't even remember the Kardashians or whoever. But in that's not mastery. For me, mastery is focusing within and finding yourself in that extreme form of self-acceptance through the imperfections, and because of the imperfections, because in the imperfections we find ourselves. And I mean, even calling something imperfections means there must be a perfection in it. So it's
it shows really. You did a beautiful thing just now, because you showed that even we that always think about things like that, I cannot even communicate with each other by saying I'm not imperfect, because we are supposedly neurodivergent, right? And we are imperfect. And the thing is, the mastery is figuring out with the imperfection of the dyslexia or whatever we have to fit in. I think mastery is also whatever you dealt with in life, that you can actually participate and dance with the rest of in the systems as well as not in the systems, that you can dance with what you've dealt with. So if my hand is cut off, I'm not going to kill myself, but I fit in the way, adapt to experience my physicality, So whatever you dealt with, if I'm dealt with, any different race or different gender or whatever, it's not about try to adapt to another one, because why would nature make you that way? It's not like, I'm Asian, I want to be white, or I'm white, I want to be Asian.
Because then we're putting a label on what's right or wrong, or what's perfect or imperfect, or whatever it is. Within mastery, we are looking at how do I accept all the bits of myself and not be dependent on validation from outside in any level, in any form. Which is a very tricky thing to do for me personally, because we, I always think I don't need someone to tell me that I did something well, but then someone says, "Oh, that was a good job," and you go, "Oh, that's nice. I like that. I like that."
That's the icing on the cake. That's the icing on the cake. It should not be more than the icing on the cake. And also, it's alignment. So when you create something, we got good feedback. You don't have to have millions of feedbacks. You just need one or two, and that's kind of, you guys are on the right track. It's like a confirmation that you're on the right track. Where I think if we had the reverberation that Taylor Swift has, for example, that's very tricky to integrate that. Not that your ego, but it's like, how can you even digest that? Why you? There's so many good musicians out there. Why not? Why is that not segregated for all musicians out there? Why is there only one? And this is the system relevance that actually forces us to say, I have to say Taylor Swift is good, and you have to say it too, because the society says Taylor Swift is good. She's cute and everything, but that doesn't mean. It was Billie Eilish before, and now it's Taylor Swift, and now the next one and was Madonna before, right? And so now the next one comes and then runs a circle, and I think if people are aware about this, that be thankful for one or two feedbacks, or 10 feedbacks, but not for. You have to have see. We could also say, oh, we don't get all these good feedbacks that everybody else gets, so we should never do this. It's not about the feedbacks. It's about the dance that we have here.
Yes, and that's a great thing that also came up last month when we were having conversations. That people don't do things because they don't think they can do it as well as, or it's not going to be perfect. So I'll do it when I have better lights or a better microphone, or a studio or a team.
Always dependent on something. It's
time or there's always something. But it never happens because none of those things are ever enough for you to be in the right space to do it,
And then you have to see, even if I get all this, if I get a micro, all the money I'll have, I still have to fight that people like me. I still, I have to still, if I am myself, no problem. But then when I know myself, then I don't need everything, and actually when you look at grassroots movements and everything, they have never had money. No grassroots movement was ever in political or whatever. The French Revolution didn't start because of the peasants had a lot of money. I'm not for the revolution, but I'm saying you're not effective. You think you're not effective, but you're actually effective very well with your one-on-oneness.
Yeah.
You don't have. It's not like, oh, I need to start this movement, or I need to start this company, and I need $1 million first. No. That's usually never what worked. When you look at all the rich people, they started poor and they worked themselves out because they had something to sell, and not, not because, and that's why it's so hard to. But if we focus on the wrong side, we say, I need to be Elon Musk, I need to be Jeff Bezos. 97% of businesses fail after the third year because of failure. From the podcast, 1% makes 98% of the money. So to force people to be system relevantly successful is almost impossible, especially when we have talked about this, when it's never enough, no matter what. So when we have a collective lack, we can't make that thing. And that's why we don't talk about 97% of businesses fail. We don't say that. We don't say podcasts only 1% makes 98% of all the revenue of podcasting. Because why? Because we're so ashamed to just be like you and I are not. We have processed that out. And we say, we don't care. If anybody watches this, it's great. They do it. It's not. I would never want to force anybody to watch this.
No.
So,
but it's also, we're not necessarily making it for anybody to watch. It is, as we said at the beginning, Rick Rubin, we both enjoy his content and what he's saying. And he mentioned it on a post as well, I think today or yesterday, kind of once you put it out, you're done.
Successful,
You're
full success,
successful because
full.
yeah.
It doesn't get more success than when you create something. See, and
Mm,
that's so shaming from the system.
mm,
When you create something, your expression, it's very much with art too.
yeah.
To say, and this is where the art people never get rich, because they have the magic in creation. They say, oh my God, I can't believe, because they are one-on-one. They can't be
Yeah.
like everybody else. They cannot be like Warhol or Matisse or Picasso. They
Yeah.
create something, is their expression. Your daughter creates something, is her expression.
Yeah.
And then because you or somebody else doesn't like it, I mean, okay, she's my mother, but she goes out in school and says, oh, that's horrible. That's nothing.
Yeah.
And you deny your experience. And this is so bad. You look at the form, but totally deny the experience, where the experience is the magic. This is where you actually self-aware, become self-aware. Says, you know what? We are not prepared for anything. We just say, this is the heading, and we talk. And it's
Yeah.
so amazing to see. I can contribute to you. I can open your perspective. You open my perspective. And by that, we see, oh my God, the human potential is endless. We could, if everybody interact like you and I, like where it doesn't matter what happens, God, we would really see our human potential. You can see it. In
Yeah.
the system elements, you can see the human potential. You say, oh, it's a big company or whatever, but everybody has that human potential. See, not just Google, Apple, this country or whatever. No, everybody has that, and can experience it right now. And this is what we do. What the other, Perry does, and Mark McCormick does. So they actually neurodivergent people have learned, because they were always the outliers, to dance with each other. And I'm so glad that movement all over, it's not just Perry or Mark, all over, where the people have talks and exchanges, which is the second superpower, right? We said that creativity is one, dialogue is second.
Yeah.
Where we contribute to each other. And it's beautiful. It's just so, that's mastery, I think. I think that's to be able to, without preparation, to go and have a conversation that is not something old. Oh, remember Schopenhauer? Remember Mozart? We remember. No, it's not something that you regurgitate.
No.
It is something in the now to create something new. Because I challenge everyone to show me a copy of this talk. There is nothing out there,
No.
But if you're a coach, oh, there's 3 points, and this guy says, the other guy says, now it's 4 points, but they're pretty much the same. And that's why it's so boring, and nobody wants to spend the time to actually be engaged and actually, seated to think their own way.
Yeah.
And we encourage everybody to think. We're not saying, no, you should say exactly what we say. No, it's for every human. Your one-on-oneness can grow, and we want to give that, what we discover, to other people, that they can just start their own thing, whatever. You know?
And that's the beauty of dialogue, really. We I love the concept of dialogue, and how we can have ideas and thoughts flow in between, instead of having discussions where, in essence, discussions are breaking things up, and this is me and that's you, and we're separate. And with dialogue, we are having ideas flow. And with this, what we're doing here, sometimes completely a different subject emerges, and then we can kind of go down that rabbit hole. But it is what needs to come up comes up, and we can play and dance.
Embrace that. In the system, and that's so, I think, again, we have said that before. Dialogue is not system relevant. It's not, because you and I can talk about the labor and the Tories all day long, right? Good or bad, right or wrong. We can talk for the next 100 years continuously about generalization, because it's general. Labor and Tory is Republican and Democrat is generalization. And therefore I can say, no, mine are better. No, yours are better because of that. And it's not about, it's about, we are both right. A human-centric dialogue is, we are both right, because there can't be anything wrong, because we are one-on-one. and we show our experience. I share my experience, you share your experience, to open us both up in our one-of-one life perception to more. So we're getting a bigger glimpse of the whole. And there's no much, where can you get that magic? Show me to do that.
And I think, I mean, we're going to end off now, but I think it's also coming to a point now in my mind where we're not even having those binary conversations anymore about Tories and Labour, or Democrats and the Republicans, because I think they're both, all four of them are wrong, and we should all, find different ways, because these ones are broken.
And also they're talking heads of generalizations. They're talking. So they can't even be themselves.
It's like a perpetual motion, and it keeps going, and it's not moving forward. It's literally
at all. It doesn't solve anything. It just keeps a problem, shifting a problem that it seems like it's not a problem anymore, but underneath is all the problems, because you focus on a generalization instead of every human is one-on-one. And that's why we need to update systems to go from generalizations to one-on-oneness. And then the systems can be artworks, what we propagate, you and I.
Yes. And that's mastery, I think.
Yes, that's mastery of Michaell and Michaell. We just discovered it. We just we're very dumb. We don't know anything. We just experienced mastery.
Exactly. We will be endeavoring to experience more mastery, our own mastery. I think we create our own.
Our one-on-one mastery.
That's it. Thank you, Michaell. I will.
Beautiful as usual.